Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. Today is kind of like a day. Now I'm laughing. This is what I needed. Yay! So what I have no idea. This is the beginning of the weekend. I'm like ooh. No, we don't do ooh here. We are gonna And no, I'm not gonna cut this because this is part of the charm, people. This is what happened in real life, okay? Some people want to tell it like Hollywood, schmollywood. I like it normal. I like it raw. I like it authentic. The more authentic we get, the better it is. And sometimes we might not like authenticity as much, but it's all good. So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about what are we going to be talking about? That's a good question because I have my intro and I'm doing different things. So we're going to be talking about the alchemy of solitude and how being alone transforms you. Woohoo! Yes, it is. So we are going to be talking about the space where we explore the edge of life, purpose, and the beauty of becoming. And I am your host, yes, Emma. Woohoo! And today we're diving into a topic that often is misunderstood and sometimes feared: solitude. Ta-da! Oh my god, I needed this. I'm telling you, I need to record my podcast every day. But not just any solitude we're talking about, okay? This is a transformative kind, the kind that strips away the noise and offers us something rare: clarity, presence, self-reclamation. And we're calling this episode The Alchemy of Solitude and How Being Alone Transforms You. Or should I say, transforms us. If you ever felt the tension between craving connections and needing distance, between wanting to be seen and longing to disappear just to hear your own voice again, this is for you. Yes, we are talking about that little voice that needs to be heard. And you need to hear it. It's not for everybody, it's only for you. So, why we fear solitude? So, let's start with this question, because why do we fear being alone? Culturally, we're taught that solitude is synonymous with loneliness, that needing space means you're broken, antisocial, or somehow failing at life. Social media feeds this illusion: constant connection, curated happiness, instant validation. Oh, yippee-ki-yay. But solitude isn't loneliness. It is a sacred pause. Okay? Solitude isn't loneliness. It is a sacred pause. We fear solitude because in a quiet, we are forced to face ourselves. Without distraction, we meet our unprocessed grief, our unmet desires, and the fruits. It's not even the fruit. It's the truth we are buried under business. It is uncomfortable until it becomes liberating. And it is so true, because you will see people in a relationship, and I'm going to splash this one across the podcast, that rather have bad companies going from one relationship to another because they don't want to be alone. Because they're afraid of the quiet, because they're afraid to face their own self. It's easier to be distracted by somebody than to face our own self. Now, the My God, this is gonna be an interesting episode because I cannot even talk. So the alchemical process of being alone. Alchemy is the transformation of base metals into gold. And solitude is a kind of an emotional alchemy, actually. So, how does being alone change us? Then you have to look at per phases or per stage because you get the self recognition. In solitude, the mask fall away, which is so true. You become your true self. It's like take the picture of people wearing those tight, skinny jeans and everything, and you know you're all built up in the world, and you come back home, you remove them, and you let everything let out. This is about what it is. So you're not performing for anyone. There is no audience, no applause, just us. And is the place we begin to see who we really are, not who we think we should be. That's what we're talking about. Because self-recognition is being able to be our own self. And a lot of people in this world are not who they are, who they represent themselves to. There is a hidden mask, a hidden agenda. I'm going to say a hidden agenda for most people because some people want to be accepted, so they will fit the mold of others' expectations, not theirs. Now, there is the emotional purging. Alone, emotions rise. We grieve, we cry, we scream. Heck yes. But we also release. Solitude becomes a container for healing. And where you no longer run from what hurts you. We are no longer running from what hurts us, but hold it until it softens. Emotionally speaking, we need to purge, we need to heal, we need to move on, we need to express ourselves. And in solitude, we're able to do that. Also, think about the creative regeneration. Some of the most powerful ideas are born in solitude, not in the middle of chaos. Without external input, we return to our own voice, pure and unfiltered. Writers, artists, innovators all know the value of a walk alone, a night in silence, a weekend unplugged. And I talked a lot about it too. But if you think about people doing this, think about Rumi's 40 days retreat, how isolation fueled his ecstatic poetry, hermit and mystics, desert fathers, Buddhists, forest monks, modern science. Study shows solitude boosts self-awareness, creativity, and emotional resilience. The fear of being alone is why we distract ourselves and how to gently face the silence, because that's one of the things. It's not, we can feel alone, and I felt alone when I was a kid. I remember that I was in, it was 1 hour where we had no classes, so we were in the town, so we got out of the school, and we were walking around. And I don't know, we were about 10, 15 kids. And I remember that as a teen. And I remember that I was standing in the middle of that crowd. And I felt so alone at that time. And I had people around. They were all talking, interacting, but I felt alone. Alone. Like, oh wow. It could have been gone. That would have been just perfect because I felt alone. So when you go through the emotional purging, then you bring that creative regeneration. Now you need to set boundary clarity. This is where you set clearly your boundaries. Solitude teaches us what drains us and what energizes us. It helps us to get clear on what we don't want in our lives, relationship, obligation, patterns that we have outgrown. And that is one of the biggest things too. It's learning to set up our boundaries. And these people around us are gonna like it. Oh heck no! But you know what? It's not about them. It's about us. It's about who we are and how can we keep our space sacred. That's why you do retreats. That's why we have people that can go and rent cabins or places where it's solitude, it's quietness, where they can feel at peace and grounded and whole again. The spiritual awakening. This is where solitude becomes mystical. When we sit with ourselves long enough, we begin to sense something greater, whether it's God, the universe, or the quiet pulse of life moving through us. Solitude isn't empty, it's full of presence. This is where you start to observe the world. You notice things and details, and this is what I love. I do walk with the pop ups every morning, and afternoon we do play tennis. But in the morning, except this morning, we went faster because, well, I went a little bit faster. They kind of set the pace because we went and at the beginning of the walk, no rain, and we did about 20 feet and then we are drenched. But that's okay. We did not turn around. We did the entire walk, even though Mike tried to turn around. I'm like, this is not happening, buddy. You're going to go with everybody. But it is amazing to notice when you're walking, when you're taking your time, not like this morning, you will notice the trees, you will notice the plants, you will notice the detail that you have not seen it. This is what it's amazing. It's really being fully present. Now, how do we do this? By practicing intentional solitude. Yes, we do. You don't need to escape to a cabin in the woods to experience solitude. Well, you can if you can do it, but if you can't, then you can start actually small. Take a tech-free walk alone. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. Eat lunch without distraction. So take when I talk about the walk, tech-free, you can turn off your phone actually. You can have your phone in your pocket, but it's turned off. That's mean you got silence. Nobody's going to disturb you by the time you do your walk. You can create a sacred space. A chair by the window, a quiet room, a candle-lit corner designated a space where you can just be. That's another way to do it. Also, use a journal without agenda. Let your thoughts spill without filters. Write like no one else is watching because no one is. Keeping a journal. Or say no without guilt. And that's one of the things and the biggest things that people don't know how to do. It's saying no. Solitude often starts with a boundary. Protect your energy. It's okay to choose rest over people pleasing. Yes. People pleasing, everybody needs to stop to do that. Seriously, what a waste of time. It's so much energy spent. You're not here to do people pleasing. You can be mindful to people, but chasing people to please them and give them your power over yourself, no, that needs to stop. So when solitude becomes transformation, there's come a moment in solitude where you realize you're not lonely, you're home. You no longer fear the silence, you welcome it. And for that silence, something new begins to emerge. You reconnect with your values. You remember who you were before the world turned you who to be, or told you, not turned you, but told you. And you begin to trust your own voice again. This is the alchemy. That is the gold. So, what is interesting is in silence, actually, you enjoy the noise. And I'm hearing the birds. As I'm speaking with you, I'm hearing the birds outside. Even though I have a fan, I can hear the wind. But it's very interesting to put our energies and feeling the energies and feeling everything that's around us without being overwhelmed as well. But it really helped us to ground ourselves and to be present, because one of the biggest things that being in solitude does is being present in a moment. And I think it's one of the hardest things people don't know how to do or forgot on how to do it. Because being in solitude is definitely one of the best experience you can ever have. Doing a voluntary silent retreat, I think some people could do it, but you need some practice, I would say. But having that moment where you can create your own space and really understand that you're going to be craving it. You're going to be needing your alone time. And I love my alone time. I love the alone time. I don't need to be in a crowd days in and out at all. This is what I love. I love the fact that I can be in solitude, even having a walk in silence with the dogs, having a moment where, well, that was last week. I went to the chiropractor. It's like an hour away from where I'm at. And I had no radio on. I didn't even turn the radio on. I purposely left like that, and I drove, and I noticed that it was quite interesting because I noticed that I'm like, this is good because I did not have the need to hear anything. I was just driving, enjoying my thoughts, watching, outside the world, passing by, driving by. But it was very empowering. When you cultivate this, it will help you, especially when you're looking at solution, when you need ideas, when you need to regenerate yourself. This is one moment where you can truly unplug and regenerate yourself. This is good for your energy. This is the purging part of it. This is where you can get your breakthrough. Like I said, Rumi got he did it in 40 days, and he got all of that mindfulness thoughts and breakthrough when he was there doing what he was doing at that time. But a lot of people have searched creative ways to have breakthrough, and this is one of the one that would said that scare a lot of people. The solitude. They think they're going to turn nuts, which is not true. It's just how do you become the observer in your life so you don't turn insane with all of the crazy thought that could come across. But it's how do we harness our energy and really stay present and grounded. And being able to do that is by being mindful, but looking at how can I become that grounded person by doing something that is easy to incorporate into my daily life. And unplugging from technology is one of the major key. I always advise for people, if when it's time to go for your dinner at night, meet with your entire family, then everybody should put in a basket their phones, turn them off, no TV, and just have a moment of quietness and mindfulness when eating, or small conversation as well to reconnect. But when you're eating mindfully, it really makes you appreciate the action of eating. It makes you focus. So all of the busy mind slow down. That's how it works, mindfulness. You can do meditation, you can do walking meditation. There is a lot of option you can do, and it really helps your overall state of mind and your body. So for people who are afraid of solitude, well, start to play around with the idea of solitude. Yeah, solitude right here. You're hearing the dogs. Those are my sounding alarms. But I would say solitude is not an exile. It's not a punishment. It's a permission, and a permission to retreat, to recover, and to remember. So if you are in a season where you're spending more time alone than you're used to, no, this is not a detour. This may be your becoming. So take the walk, light the candle, listen to the quiet. You may be surprised by who you meet there. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. And if this episode resonated with you, I invite you to share it with someone who might need to be reminded that solitude is sacred, not shameful. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and remember your own company is enough, which is freaking so true. I would say I have been in better company with myself than some people, seriously, from the past. And I'm like, that's why they are in the past. But really take the time to reconnect with your own self and appreciate who you truly are, because you are the alchemist in your life, and the only way to transform yourself is to go through the alchemy process and the solitude to really determine who you are, what you're going to pull up with, and what you are not going to pull up with. That makes a huge difference when you start to transform yourself. You're transforming your life and you're transforming your outer conditions and the people in it as well. All my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.